My name is Jim Laffey. I'm a professor at the University of Missouri. We have a School of Information Science and Learning Technologies. I see my role as a faculty member as mentoring students, but then doing research and design projects, which basically is the process of mentoring the students, to have them participate with me as we do those projects. I see design-based research as a fundamental approach to doing research and development. I see it more like an approach than a method, or maybe it's more like an attitude than a method. To me, it really starts with the desire to design, to build something that's going to have an impact, not just an article that comes out of it. From that desire to design and build something, it's extended by a set of approaches or methods that essentially are highlighted by an iterative process where you are driven by the data, or you follow the data to find better approaches, both in your thinking about the problem and in the creations the products that you're building. In our case, those are usually learning systems, and in particularly now we are working with 3D virtual learning environments, where we're trying to develop environments where kids and teachers can participate in very active and interactive ways. Well, I don't know that it's a field. I don't know that it's a genre. As I said before, I think it's more like an approach. And I think it's maybe like it's an approach in my repertoire. I do lots of things, and sometimes my research has to focus more on outcomes-based pre- and post-testing. I have an audience of taxpayers who have paid for the grants that I'm working on. They care about those kind of results. A parent doesn't want to send their child into a program just because, as a faculty member, I think I'm getting smarter. They want to know that the program has some benefit that they can expect their child to have. So I feel that's part of my commitment. So it's not just the only thing that you should be doing, or the most important thing that you should be approaches you should be doing. I see it as a part of my repertoire. And so I see the other researchers that are doing design-based research as collaborators and figuring out how to do it better, how to be smarter about it, new approaches to it. It certainly is not a refined or defined or completed field. How to do the systematic process of iteration and learn faster through that process is still a big challenge for all of the developers, and particularly for developers who are working on, say, complex virtual environments where, particularly like in a university environment, most of our developers this is probably the first time they've ever developed anything of substance, so they're learning to be developers. You've got to build teams of fairly novice people together. So there's lots of challenges built into that process that you have to manage, and using data to inform decisions is just part of that process. So I see it as a component of my repertoire, and as a field of people that collaborate to get smarter about doing those types of things. The part that gets us all excited is that there's a focus on impact. Yes, I want to have journal publications. I need to have journal publications in order to get my next grant, in order to, or I need to help my doctoral students be able to, develop their skills and competencies so they can get grants, so they can write journal articles. But at the end of the day, the real impact, or the real bottom line, is having an impact. Like, we have a project where we're working to develop a virtual system for kids with autism to learn social competence. Well, if you can do that, that's really worthwhile doing. So as Tom Reeves has said, a bad outcome of a project like that is kind of heartbreaking, because it's a missed opportunity. So I think that's what is at the, that's what should drive us to the next stage. And hopefully, if design-based researchers are more and more successful, it will show the rest of the community that's out there that impact is something that we can achieve, and is, you know, not something to be afraid of, but something to really embrace. And if we, you know, as that word spreads, you know, maybe we have better and stronger impacts. Find partners who are doing this type of work, and get involved in their projects, participate in the process. I don't think you could, although I know my good friend Tom Reeves has written a great book about design-based research, I don't think you can learn to do design-based research by reading his book, although I'm sure it'll be a great help. But get involved, get engaged in the process, even if it's just a small apprentice kind of role to begin with, and then learn, and then start to think about, well, where does your passion for impact take you, and start to imagine, you know, what problem do I want to take on, what kind of impact do I want to have, and start assembling those capabilities to do that. Then, of course, write grants, write proposals.